Hello there, we're glad to have you with us for another informative edition of Jamaica Magazine. I'm your host, Theodore Henry. On this International Self-Care Day, we're encouraging you to make self-care a part of your everyday routine and turn it into a priority. It is also important to note that self-care is the cornerstone to wellness. We have a good show lined up just for you, so please stay with us. We'll be right back.
Good day, I'm Lisa Rowe and this is your JIS News for Wednesday, July 24, 2024. The Ministry of Finance has allocated $5 billion from the Disaster Risk Financing Resources to address immediate relief and recovery efforts associated with Hurricane Beryl. The distribution includes $1.3 billion to finance programs being undertaken by the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation. $1 billion will also finance programs by the Ministry of Labour and Social Security. Portfolio Minister Dr. Nigel Clark says the allocation is drawn from an available pool of 10.9 billion Jamaican dollars. However, the decision to only use half of the fund is to have a reserve for the remainder of the hurricane season. He was making a statement to Parliament on Tuesday.
Any expenditure beyond this amount that falls into this fiscal year will be financed from the proceeds of donations, which are not on this chart, and the donations that have been pledged so far, if you add, from the UN, 2.5 million, 200,000 from the US government, 250,000 from the CAF, which is the multilateral bank that services the Caribbean and Latin America. IDB has promised 200,000. And several other entities, and the CDB, 200,000. We are, if you add just those, we would be already approximating 700 million or thereabouts. So donations could well get to $1 billion. The thing about donations is that some of them are very specific as to what they can be used for, and we have to honor that specificity.
Minister Clark says all expenditures taken and to be undertaken in relation to Hurricane Beryl will be represented in the first supplementary estimates to be tabled later this year. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Labour and Social Security is reporting that based on analysis of the damage assessment completed so far, more than 8,700 houses will require some level of support to aid their recovery from the hurricane. The ministry will be implementing a $1 billion program to assist householders with grants for carrying out repairs to their houses.
And I note and I say for clarity that we will not be able to provide support for a total rebuild, but this will be sufficient support to assist in the process of the recovery. But there are several persons who need to be identified and have not yet been assisted. And we ask that the teams reach out to us, either by contacting our parish office, contact me directly, or call our customer contact center at 876-922-8000-13.
Families whose houses would have been destroyed will receive a grant of up to $400,000. Houses that have been severely damaged but spared total destruction will receive a grant of up to $150,000, while those that experienced minor damage will receive up to $50,000 each.
We recognize that the immediate challenges presented by using check payments based on our experience. We recognize those challenges, and so we are exploring options to expedite this process, utilizing electronic payments and cash cards. And we expect that this will assist in us in terms of accountability, as well as being able to provide these grants and improve the service of delivery in a timely manner.
Through the Social Intervention Program, $30 million has been allocated to provide tertiary grants. 200 students will benefit from $150,000 each. Energy Minister Darrell Vaz has issued a directive to the Jamaica Public Service Company, JPSCO, to communicate with residents who are still without electricity. At the weekly post-cabinet press briefing earlier today, Minister Vaz highlighted that over 400 customers have reported that their communities are not on the published JPS work schedule.
The information that is coming out of JPS and what is happening on the ground is at odds. I am very concerned in relation to the timelines that have been given by JPS based on what I'm getting out of the field from the members of parliament and residents across Jamaica. I already did my own survey on Sunday, and within less than 24 hours, I got 410 responses of persons who indicated that they were still out of power, and either that they did not see their names or their communities on the schedules, or they had not seen any JPS presence in their communities. After 3 weeks, I state categorically that that is unacceptable.
Minister Vaz also highlighted the broader impact of the prolonged electricity outage.
There are still several NWC pumps that are out after 3 weeks, and several NIC, National Irrigation Commission, pumps that supply water to farmers across the length and breadth of Jamaica. The farmers of this country cannot get back to earn a livelihood if they are unable to replant or unable to continue to water whatever is left of their produce.
Work will begin on the Greater Mason Hall water system in the next 2 weeks following a groundbreaking ceremony on Thursday for Phase 1 of the project. The $173 million project in St. Mary is part of a broader investment of over $900 million and will be completed within 2 years. Minister with responsibility for water, Senator Matthew Samuda, indicates that a progress visit to the site will be done on August 22. He is urging residents to exercise patience and understanding of any disruption or inconvenience associated with the project.
There will be some dislocation and some discomfort. That is the nature of construction. We're asking the community to work with us because, as you know, when tractors and heavy equipment working, sometimes you have some traffic and some blockage.
Mr. Samuda says a sensitization meeting will be held with residents, which will also include discussions on roadworks within the community. At the same function, Minister Matthew Samuda announced that a household resilience project would be established in the Mason Hall community. Minister Samuda says that while the government is building resilience of its water systems, there is a great need to build resilience at the community and household levels. The project will involve the Social Development Commission, SDC.
So we have asked the SDC to work with us at MEGJC in assessing communities where we have projects underway, assessing communities where projects are promised but don't start it, to determine the households that do not have adequate water storage and cannot afford it.
Minister Samuda says the Household Resilience Project will give preferential treatment to vulnerable individuals such as the elderly. And finally, the Upper House has approved a bill paving the way for amendment to Section 61 of the Constitution. This amendment introduces new language into the Constitution, replacing references to the Queen or the King with the Parliament of Jamaica. Leader of Government Business in the Senate, Senator Kamina Johnson-Smith, piloted the debate on the bill on Friday.
Laws passed within our Parliament are still enacted by the words, the Queen's or the King's Most Excellent Majesty. And this is because the Constitution sets out how bills are enacted. It does so under Section 61, and this bill seeks to amend those words of enactment by providing new words, prescribing new words, which reflect the autonomy of Parliament. Some things just need to move forward, and the Jamaicanization of our Constitution is one of these things.
The bill is one of the legislative steps being taken by the government towards making Jamaica a republic.
The government firmly believes that it is important to express the supreme authority of Parliament of Jamaica in all legislative matters. And very importantly, Mr. President, the proposed amendment to Section 61 of the Constitution is an important step on our road to becoming a republic. Having replaced the words of enactment for all bills of Parliament, when the bill to transition Jamaica from a constitutional monarchy to a republic is passed, it will state that the enactment is made by the Parliament of Jamaica.
15 members of the Senate voted for the legislation, 1 abstained, while 5 were absent. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Lisa Rowe. Thanks for watching.
Natural disasters like a hurricane can be catastrophic, not just to the environment and infrastructure, but also your mental health. Here are some useful tips to help you cope before, during, and after a hurricane. Get the facts. Reliable information is crucial to assessing your risk and taking reasonable actions. Make connections. Talk with family members or friends and share how you are feeling. Practice self-care. Do activities that bring you joy and relaxation, such as meditation. Get to a shelter if you cannot stay in your home or you do not have access to power. Again, a healthy relationship and a strong support system with family members or friends is vital, so share how you feel. Listen to music that will help to put your mind at ease. Taking care of your body by eating well, drinking water, exercising, and getting enough sleep can help regulate your mood. Limit your exposure to television and social media content about the worst effects of the hurricane. Overexposure can increase distress. Engage in fun and therapeutic activities, such as exercise, your favorite hobbies, and social activities.
The fact that you're breathing means your heart is beating, but you can't take it for granted because a lot of things can compromise your heart's functionality and therefore your life. Take your life into your own hands and do all you can to maintain the health of your heart.
Anna, you know you're special, very, very special to me, Anna.
Yes, Mom, I know.
And today I want to have a special conversation with you about taking care of your body.
Okay, Mom, what do you mean?
Alright, so today we're going to talk about taking care of a very special part of your body, and that's your heart. Do you feel the heart beating? Yes, and I'm going to talk to you about taking care of your heart.
Oh, I see. Yes, I learned about the heart in school.
Wow, you're so smart.
You normally go unaware of it beating 100,000 times per day as you move about. But what if it stopped and you could have prevented that? This complex and delicate organ is responsible for pumping the blood supply that carries oxygen and the nutrients needed for your body to function properly. It's time to stop and find out what you need to do to keep your heart beating. Professor Ernest Madu is an internationally recognized nuclear cardiologist, as well as the founder and chairman of the Heart Institute of the Caribbean. He tells us what is normal in heart health.
If you're looking for what is a normal heart rate, it's usually, we say it's about 60 to 100 beats per minute. Normal blood pressure, we want to keep it systolic, the top one. It should be around 120. And the bottom one should be less than 70. Those will be what we'll consider normal. If it's high, it's hypertension. If it is low, it's hypotension. So very high blood pressure is not good. Very low blood pressure can also cause problems. A very high heart rate is a problem. Very low heart rate is also a problem.
It's only about the size of a fist, but has a huge responsibility as it bears the weight of supporting all the other organs in the body. To practice good heart health, you will first need to understand the risks of having a bad heart.
cardiovascular diseases, including heart disease and stroke, the commonest cause of death and disability in Jamaica. We estimate, just from our own studies, we estimate that perhaps more than 7,500 people have a heart attack every year in Jamaica the first time. And then about half of that number have a second heart attack. Many people with heart attack will not survive unless appropriate intervention happen in a timely manner.
Leading the cause factors for poor heart health is obesity and preconditions such as diabetes and hypertension. The call remains loud for people to take seriously the lifestyle changes that support hearty living. Parents are encouraged to develop this culture in their children.
Parents must adequately inform themselves, because you can't train somebody what you don't know. Encourage your children to get out of the house and be active and exercise, and watch your children what they eat and make sure their weight is ideal, and begin early to train the children on the ways, the habits that they need to form early in life, that can help to keep their risk for heart disease at bay.
Research in the field of cardiology is growing, providing more information to help us make wise choices for our heart health.
One of the major causes of heart failure, especially in Black people, that is recognized now, is called cardiac amyloidosis. And it used to be almost universally fatal. But now there are treatment options and there are diagnostic mechanisms for this. We're working with Yale University to launch that project here in Jamaica. So there's been a mountain of advances happening, whether it's cardiac imaging, personalized medicine, genomic treatment strategies, remote patient monitoring.
On a personal level, Jamaicans are being urged to get active and do regular medical checkups.
We also have to be mindful about the role of exercise and physical activity in protecting ourselves from heart disease and other non-communicable ailments that are associated with sedentary lifestyles or inactivity. The Minister of Health, Dr. Tufton, has been aggressive in pushing Jamaicans to get out and exercise, and I think that is a step in the right direction. Early detection is very important. We need to recognize that the idea that every pain is gas is not helpful. When people feel that discomfort, they need to seek medical attention.
Mom, so what can I do to take care of my heart?
So Anna, you have to exercise. So like playing that you always do. And also Anna, I need you to start eating those veggies, even the ones that you don't like. And I need you to go to bed on time as well. And guess what? Never forget to laugh, all right? Never forget to laugh. And you must not forget these tips, all right, Anna? You must take this throughout your life.
Thank you so much for this talk, Mom. I will never forget it.
All right, my sweet Anna.
Attitude is something which productivity will require, and a good attitude. So these are conversations which are difficult. Because how do you instill a good attitude? It starts by the kinds of activities that you engage your children in at an early age. What are we teaching our children even in our own homes? How do they see us reacting to challenges? How do they hear us addressing issues? That's what's going to shape their attitude and their mindset.
All of us want to see the dream of owning a piece of property come true. The feeling is unmatched, and we want to help you experience this. So let's learn more about how you could become a landowner.
Becoming a landowner is a significant feat for most people. That feeling of entitlement and success of being able to turn your own key and say, "Welcome to my home." This could be you, and the government is doing its part through the Adjudication Services Division of the National Land Agency.
Systematic registration is defined as the process of land titling through a determined jurisdiction, and it's performed on a commune-by-commune basis. Now, what exactly does that mean? It means that it's the methodical and orderly registration of parcels of land in a designated area using the adjudication process. Adjudication is defined as the process through which existing rights in a parcel of land are finally and authoritatively ascertained. Key things to note: adjudication doesn't alter existing rights or create new ones. It merely establishes what rights exist on ground.
Now that we've established the definition of these very important terms, let's get down to the meat of the matter. You have a piece of land, or you've been living on land that you do not have the title for, but have legitimate claims. Let's find out how you can go about becoming certified landowners utilizing the National Land Agency's adjudication services.
Systematic registration may be new to Jamaica, but it's certainly not new to the world. At the National Land Agency, we have a wealth of information on unregistered land parcels in Jamaica. So currently we know that the parishes with the lowest rates of registration are Portland and St. Elizabeth. So we'll definitely be targeting those two parishes. The mandate of the Adjudication Services Division is to assist landowners who have been in open, undisturbed and undisputed possession of their land for upwards of 12 years to claim ownership of their land via systematic registration using the adjudication process. There's a proposed adjudication process for systematic registration, and we have benchmarked other jurisdictions, and the adjudication process will entail the following. The first is the identification of an adjudication area, project area. The next step will look at what are the areas in those parishes where there's a lot of economic activity, or they're near town centers, probably farmlands, where these farmers will be able to benefit from having a certificate of title to use as collateral security. Once, an area has been identified, a recommendation will be made to the minister to declare that area as an area for systematic registration.
Surveying will go hand in hand with the adjudication process, so you can look out for the team from the Adjudication Services Division, as they will be situated within the selected communities. These teams will be visiting households parcel by parcel, interviewing landowners and investigating whether or not they have been in open, undisturbed and undisputed possession of their land for over 12 years.
The adjudication record, it will be published in a daily newspaper circulating not only in Jamaica but across the diaspora. So it's not only notice to community members and notice to Jamaica, but it is notice to the world that persons are claiming to be the owners of land. Now, let me start with the positive. Where there are no objections to the adjudication record, as the director, I'll be able to issue what is known as an adjudication certificate. And this adjudication certificate will be deemed to be conclusive proof of ownership. This is now the documentary proof that the person on that certificate is in fact the owner of the land. Where there are objections, however, all these objections will be referred to the adjudication committees, and adjudication committees are established in accordance with Section 9 of the Special Provisions Act to determine ownership rights in land.
Now that I've given you the basic information that you need to regularize your status as a landowner, it's now up to you to make that step. All the best.
The most important thing in life for a long and happy existence is good health. The first steps are to make sure you eat a balanced diet and you get some exercise. There is more to it, and we'll share how the government is educating people on that journey next.
COVID has taught us many things. And among those is that the dynamics of our environment has shifted somewhat in terms of how people think about themselves in their natural space. I mean, one of the greatest manifestations of that is the workplace. The workplace has changed because of COVID, because Jamaicans, the global citizen, have come to terms with their mortality, now so more than any other time in the world. Because COVID, as I said, has been the greatest equalizer known to man during this last 100 years. Everybody was afraid at some point in time that COVID would have gotten us and would have taken us out. And it never really mattered whether we had money or were poor, whether we were in North America or in Jamaica. And as a human instinct would dictate, many persons are now rethinking how they work, where they work, what time they work. And the concept of self-care and taking care of self, family, community is becoming a lot more relevant. That represents for us an opportunity, particularly because we exist in a pandemic of lifestyle-related ailments. It is how we live that is facilitating our demise to a large extent. The cardiovascular disease, the salts, the sugars, the fats, the tobacco, the alcohol, the lack of rest, the lack of physical activity. We have to get people nudged into greater health-seeking behavior. It cannot just be about cure, it has to be about prevention. And some of it we may have to legislate, like tobacco legislation, like school nutrition policy and what is served in our schools, like sugary drink, our foundation championed that, like the right of people to know what's in their foods, front of package labeling. But the reality is that generally Jamaicans don't like to get a checkup. They go doctor when they're sick. So while we single out men for being a little, afraid, it's better to bear the perception of being violated and detecting your prostate troubles early than to wait until it's too late. And at that stage, the violation don't really matter. So we're going to have to be bold about that and engage in greater community outreach. But I think we have to also advocate for people, Jamaicans, to do their annual screening.
And that's a wrap for us here on today's edition of Jamaica Magazine, but be sure to join us tomorrow at the same time on this same station for another show you won't want to miss. Until then, visit our website, jis.gov.jm, for this and other happenings. On behalf of the entire production team, I'm Theodore Henry, reminding you to take the time to love yourself. You deserve it.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.